Well, guys, you know the drill. There's a bunch of new comic books coming out this week, and it's time to take a look at them so I can tell you what I'm getting. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. So if you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. On this channel, I do comic book unboxings, reviews, haul videos, everything in between. So if you're interested in comic book content like I am, you should hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way you're notified when new videos go live. This is the latest in the series that I like to call What I'm Getting, where I take a look at the books coming out this coming Wednesday, and I tell you which ones are on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list that I'm making a game day decision on. So this week, I always like to start with the book I'm most excited for. Before we do that, I got to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Ultimate Comics. Now, Ultimate Comics is my local comic shop. And if you're based in the Raleigh, Durham area, then there are 4 locations for you to choose from to go pick up your weekly comics, collectibles, Funko Pops, posters, whatever, right? Now, if you're not local to the Triangle area, no worries. You can actually shop twice a week at the Ultimate Comics live show on Facebook, or visit their website at ultimatecomics.com, and you can look at rare variants, ratio variants, retailer exclusives, all that on ultimatecomics.com. Don't say I didn't tell you anything cool. Let them know I sent you. So that's Ultimate Comics, and thanks to Ultimate Comics for sponsoring What I'm Getting. Now, it's time to take a look at the books that are coming out so I can tell you what I'm most excited for this week. That is, surprise, surprise, The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 81. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man, ever since issue 75, has been a pretty much weekly title. So it's like every week there's another chapter in this Beyond story. So Peter Parker has been out of commission. He's in a coma, or has been, and Ben Reilly, his clone, has taken his place, but he's backed by the Beyond Corporation, and they're in control of his every move. As these last few issues have unfolded, we're starting to get hints that the Beyond Corporation is not quite benevolent, and there are a lot of people who want to see that organization taken down, from Kraven the Hunter to Doc Ock, and at the end of this previous issue, 80.BEY, which is a tie-in. Normally tie-ins don't have very significant developments, but there was a very significant development at the end of the last issue. And that's all I say in case you didn't read it. But issue number 81. So the Beyond Corporation has a trademark on the name Spider-Man. And so you can see why they might take offense to the rise of a certain web slinger from Brooklyn named Miles Morales. So in issue 81, it looks like we're going to get a showdown between Ben Reilly and Miles Morales. I have a feeling it's not going to go quite the way it's looking on the cover, but I'm excited to see how it unfolds nonetheless. That's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting the cover A. And since we're talking about Marvel Comics, let's just go through the rest of my Marvel Comics pull list, starting with Donny Cates's Hulk number 2. So Hulk number 1, I read it as soon as it came out. It was exciting. It was bombastic, even if I felt like it didn't have much heart. It was just like a really crazy superhero story. Like, it's like Donny Cates was like, what's the wildest thing we could do with the Hulk? Let's do that in the first issue. And he did that. So it was definitely like an interesting book. Like I said, I felt like it lacked some depth, but it reminds me a lot of how Venom number 1 started. So I'm definitely in it for at least the next 2 to 3 issues to see how this story unfolds and how Donny Cates attaches some heart to Bruce Banner. This has got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting the cover A. Next up, speaking of the Beyond Corporation, is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 33. So I've kind of fallen off of Miles Morales Spider-Man, but this one is a Beyond tie-in. And like I said, the tie-ins in this Beyond story have suddenly become ultra important. Maybe Marvel just thinks I'm a sucker, and maybe I am the sucker that Marvel thinks I am. But I'm getting this book. It's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting the cover A. And lastly, last book on my Marvel Comics pull list is XForce number 26. XForce by Benjamin Percy. The art's been kind of up and down, but I've been enjoying it pretty much. So it's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting the cover A. And that's it for my Marvel Comics pull list. If I just stick to this list, my Marvel Comics are going to cost me $16 this week. Not bad. Not bad at all. And now we're going to move over to DC Comics, where every book on the list is a Batman book. Surprising to absolutely no one. So first up is the Batman ScoobyDoo Mysteries issue number 9. This book, again, has no business being as fun as it is for me. But my guilty pleasure is like YA books, like just fun, good-hearted, light-hearted stories. I love Super Sons and I love the Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries. So sue me. It's got a cover price of $2.99 and I'm getting the cover A. Next up, from John Reilly is I Am Batman number 4. This series has kind of been up and down for me. The story's finally picking up. I feel like we're finally getting that action that we needed, but the artwork has been inconsistent in this series. Well, it's almost like DC heard my complaints about artwork and decided to throw my favorite artist on this book. So starting with issue 6, I believe, Ken Lashley's going to be doing interiors, and that's something that I'll wait for. First of all, when's the last time Ken Lashley did interiors on a book? So I'm going to be grabbing this for the foreseeable future and pretty much for as long as Ken Lashley's on it. It's got a cover price of $3.99 and I'm getting cover A. And lastly, the last book on my DC Comics pull list is The Joker, issue number 10. The Joker by James Tynion has been an interesting enough book. I honestly was picking it up for the Punchline backup stories, but I'm a little bit behind on those. But now that Fear State is over and pretty much everything else Tynion was doing at DC is over, except DC versus Vampires, which just started. But anyway, this is pretty much the last leg that James Tynion has in Gotham. And he's got another 4 issues on it after this one. So I'm excited to see how it goes, how he wraps up his storyline. This one's got a cover price of $5.99. I'm getting cover A. So that's the DC Comics pull list. If I stick to the list, I'm just paying $13 for DC this week. A light week for me. And now let's move on to the independents, the creator-owned, the smaller publishers, whatever we want to call them. They're all here. So first up from Image Comics is King Spawn number 5. King Spawn is a book that I haven't even been reading. I honestly buy all of the Spawn titles just on principle because they give me great art. They give you great quality. They give you cardstock covers and the price is only $2.99. So I kind of just vote with my dollars in hopes that maybe one day the bigger publishers will catch on. I doubt that'll happen considering that DC's been putting out $5.99 books lately. But, I like to think that I'm voting with my dollars. And so Spawn stays on the pull list. It's got a cover price of $2.99. I'm getting cover A. And next up, also from Image Comics, from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, is Primordial, issue number 4. This honestly was a book that I was gonna give that most excited spot to, but I forgot to read issue number 3. But Primordial is basically a story about these animals that were sent into space, and the story that we were given officially in historical record wasn't true. So now we got to find out what happened with these dogs. And man, it got all sci-fi and crazy. It was really cool. I like the art. I also like what's going on with the dude that found out about it. Anyway, I need to get caught up on this series. I don't know if it's an ongoing or if it's a mini, but it's been exciting either way. It's got a cover price of $3.99 and I'm getting cover A. Next up, from IDW is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 124. You guys know I pretty much just been picking up this book for the covers, but we're finally getting some action. Lately, and that I'm excited about. Now, you guys know I usually just pick up the Kevin Eastman cover B, which as of right now still hasn't been revealed, but I'm not too upset at this A cover. This A cover looks pretty good too. So either way, I think I'll be happy with the cover that I get this week. It's got a cover price of $3.99 and there you go. That's the cover A. And the last book on the pull list this week from Image Comics, Skybound Studios, Robert Kirkman. This is The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue number 29. So they are releasing all, I think it's 144 issues of The Walking Dead. They're re-releasing them on a bi-weekly schedule. Each book in color with cardstock covers. Whoops. Drop my pen. But each book in color with cardstock covers and cool extras in the back. I've never read The Walking Dead, so I'm experiencing it for the first time in color, which I do think adds a lot to the experience. This one's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting the cover A. And that's it for my pull list. So if I stick to the list, my indie books are just going to cost me $15 this week, which means I'm under budget. How awesome is that? I'm under budget this week. My grand total before taxes and my 10% subscriber discount is $44, which means I've got room for another book. So I might try out a new number one. I might just go grab something that I didn't grab in previous weeks. I don't know yet. But what's on your pull list? What's on the list that you're getting that I'm not getting? And what are you most excited for about the books? Or what book are you most excited for that's on my pull list? That's what I want to know. So let me know in the comments below. Now, there are tons of new books coming out this week and every week. Books, graphic novels, periodicals, all of that. So if you want a full list of this week's new releases, then go ahead and check out the blog post at comicsaredope.com. While you're there, you can check out some cool merchandise and fun articles that I've been writing here recently. So yeah, Comics Are Dope. That's my website, and it's the best place to get fun information about comics. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter. But I hope you saw something you liked in this video. If not, hey, that's cool, because you can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy and be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.